Hi, I'm going to show you how to configure the shadow copy service, setting up a schedule, picking up a storage location, previous versions, installing the Windows Server backup feature, how to create a backup of a volume, how to recover lost data, recovering individual files, recovering a complete volume, recovering from an operating system, additional backup tips, and this is on the Windows. The really cool thing about it is that users don't need to ask computer administrators to recover the data from the users, can go out and recover the data by themselves. Now the main thing you need to keep in mind when you're configuring the shadow copies is when you want these backups to be made and where do you want to store them. I've had another hard drive, and one of the main reasons for doing this, we need to put a place to back up our data. Okay, if you go to your C drive and then just create a folder, called backup data. So you open the folder, then you go new text document called backup1. .txt, and then open it up, and then what we want to do this time is want to type in this is the original, save it and just click out. The reason why I wanted to create the original file is because we're going to make some changes to this file. Now the first type of backup I'm going to show you is the shadow copy backup. Shadow copies are configured on each volume, so if we go to the C drive and then right click on there and you'll go configure shadow copies. By default, my C drive and my E drive shows disabled. If you want to enable a shadow copying on either one of these, highlight it, click on the settings button. We don't want to enable it straight away, we need to set the settings up first. So I'm going to click on the C drive because that's the drive I'm actually going to be configuring. Go on settings. On here, this shows you where you would like to store the shadow copies on the C drive or the E drive. But we're going to keep it on the C drive. You don't need to choose a different volume for your shadow copies. It is quite common to use the same drive, the same volume to store the shadow copies, and the reason why is because this is not a replacement of the true backups. It is just a feature allows users quickly and easily get backup to if the document was actually being deleted, or if the user has made some changes to it and they want to go back to it. The next choice we have here is how much space we want to allocate these shadow copies. Here the default will always be 10% of the volume. As these copies of the data are being made, stored in 4 gigs of space, it will keep adding up until it fills up the space. Once this space has been filled, it will automatically eliminate and make room for the newest ones. The next thing we need to do is create a schedule. So if you click on schedule, and you will see here by default 2 shadow copies will be made every day of the week, Monday to Friday, and one is made at 7 AM, the other time 12 PM. From Microsoft programmed into the operating system. If you enable the shadow copies, not changing any shadow copy will be made at 7 AM every day of the week. When you're shadow copying, there are 2 things you need to take into consideration. The time that's making these shadow copies, performance may slow down. especially if you have larger data that is changing frequently. And the second thing you need to take into consideration is that you need to make sure that you have enough shadow copies for people's mistakes made. So if you click on the button enable, that will actually enable it. If you click on the disable, that will actually disable the shadow copying. But there's another button I'll like to show you as well. If you just click on this one, it will create a shadow copy. Okay, I will show you how this works. So if you go to the C drive, you open that backup data folder, you open up your text document, and if you just type something into this text, and save it. Okay. And if you think, oh no, I've actually done a mistake there, I didn't mean to save over the original. Click restore. Okay, and you should go back to the original. A lot of administrators have trained their help desk to go ahead and do this, to help simplify the process of recovering a simple mistake that a user has made by overwriting the file or deleting the file.